friends, happy Friday. I hope your weekend is off to a great start. I'm happy to be starting the weekend for sure. It's been a day, I tell you. Week was great. The day was long, but anyway, it's good to be here. Good to see so many folks joining us already. Let's just make sure that's working, and let's say hello. I see Artie's Place, Big Dave, Clarence Wood, George Campbell, Puny Pipe Man, Ron Hardcrackers. Great to see you guys tonight. There's Pensive Piper, C Bloom 78, I think. Forgive me if that's a 3. Haven't put my glasses on yet. Mountain Coffee Outdoors. Steph and Skip, how you doing, Steph? Good to see you. Tramper Scott, Name That Pipe. Doing well here. Hillbilly Piper, Signal Man Tony from Rhode Island. How's it going, Tony? Andrew Galloway. My goodness, quite a crowd already. There's MTMTB. I don't think I caught you yet. Codger Jim, Kevin Doolin, Jeffrey Feinberg, Michael Case. Wow. Good crowd. Good crowd. And I saw earlier our buddy Mushroom Leg was on. I don't know if he's still on, but his cat Georgie is doing poorly, and he asked for some prayer. So we certainly pray for you, Mushroom Leg, and for Georgie, and for the best outcome in all of that. Patrick Grant, good to see you, Patrick, the Urban Hermit. Hello, Everett. Mountain Coffee Outdoors is having some gaslight in the Savinelli pot. Very nice. Pondering with Pepe's Pipes. Good to see you, Pepe. What's new? Oh, all kinds of stuff's new, Pepe. I don't know if I want to get into it. Don't know if I want to get into it. As is tradition, I've got the Matches Memorial Friday Savinelli, and I am smoking Haunted Bookshop, which is also tradition. Might do something a little different after this, we'll see. Smoking Kentucky Piper, how you doing? C Bloom, you've already had quite a day? Yeah. Those happen, but it's good when they happen on Fridays. Armchair Piper, how's it going, Ed? In addition to the pipe, I have a nice, generous pour of the Stolen Wolf Rye. The rye whiskey that mysteriously disappeared a few months back. My wife swears she didn't drink it. I swear I didn't drink it. Somebody drank it. But she went to Pittsburgh, and while there, replenished the supply. So I'll see if this one disappears. And the pour was a bit more generous because I get started early. Oh, let's see. Couch is here. Good to see you, Couch. Haunted Bookshop is indeed a daily tradition, Everett. Indeed. Some days it's an hourly tradition. Burley is boss, Kevin. Yes, it is. Mountain Coffee Outdoors, it's funny you say that. I find Haunted Bookshop to be a fairly mellow blend, and people tell me I'm crazy. It's a like it or hate it kind of thing. Big Country Briar, Cole, how's it going, buddy? Good to see you tonight. And there's Cloud Bear. What's up, my friend? Good to see you stopping in. Oh, Steph. Well, hey, I'm happy to have you lurking. Great. It's great to see you, and I hope you're doing well, and we'll keep Skipping in prayer as he's off on one of his offshore adventures. Pray that he's kept safe and well and back home soon. Name That Pipe says he's smoking some Weybridge, great blend, and a Country Gentleman. Good stuff. That's interesting, Kevin. Low Country, I agree, is about as mellow as Haunted Bookshop. Pegasus, to me, is a little bit more rough around the edges, but what do I know? The dogs are drinking my stash. It could be, Gary. It could be. Although they don't like whiskey. Don't ask me how I know that. I dip my finger in and hold it out to them. And my previous beagle used to turn his nose up at the whiskey, but loved beer. And my lab mix loved the whiskey. but didn't like beer. These two, neither one of them like whiskey, and Thatcher loves beer, but won't. Izzy doesn't want anything to do with any of it. She drinks her out of her water bowl. She says that's what dogs are supposed to do, and she's happy. Edwin Pipes and Cigars, good to see you, buddy. And Ohio Sweet Muffin Mafia Piper, how you doing there, buddy? Pipe Time is having salty dogs in a Tekken mirror with vodka neat. Good stuff. It looks like Steve Russell might be having dry gin. Yeah, Couch. Well, George, my old lab mix, he enjoyed a little nip of whiskey now and then. And I told the story about how Buckley drank a whole bottle of watermelon liqueur, which was hilarious, but it never showed a bit of a. He probably napped all day. Probably cracked that open as soon as we left for work in the morning, and by the time we got home, he was just his happy old self. Dry Fly Fisher 11, good evening, good to see you. And there's Sailor with Old Joe Krantz and a Briarworks original, Johnny Walker Black neat on the side. Kirk from Florida, how you doing, Kirk? And Scott Terry, hey. Cornell and Deal Burley Flake number 3. Nice. Sabanelli Dublin after shoveling snow all day. Ah, that sounds so good. Michael K says he just saw Bremen Pipe Smoker Mark's review of Salty Dogs, and it sounds good. It is good stuff, Michael. If you can find it, it's very good. And there's Doug Owen. Sorry, Doug, I almost called you Dog Owen. Doug Owen, whose dog Salty is named after Salty Dog, and both are feisty. Lord Hogarth, hello, having some esoterica Dunbar and a martini. And the Smooth Piper is here. How you doing, Peter? Haunted Bookshop in his Friday Sabanelli Lucite. Nice. Kevin Doolin says he's slowly running out of the Dunhill labels. He has one more tin of Nightcap and half a jar of 965. Kevin, I'm curious, have you tried the Peterson versions? I don't know if they make, I'm assuming they make Nightcap. They must make Nightcap and 965. Just wondering if you've seen a difference between the Peterson and the Dunhill. I've never tried the Peterson, and I've rarely smoked the Dunhills, so I don't know much about them. Don't know how they compare. Yep, Cloud Bear, Bremen Pipe Smoker. He's got some good content. All right, Couch. Annual Sobriety Watch showing up. Can't wait to see the pictures. Can't wait. Always a high point. Couch is a watch collector, and I love a nice watch, but I own exactly one nice watch. And I can see it's a rabbit hole that I just don't want to go down. Stanley Smith. Smoking a new pipe with Dunhill Cavendish. Nice. No, Dutch Cavendish. Sorry, got Dunhill on the brain from earlier. Dutch Cavendish, of course. Good deal. Okay, Kevin, so you think it's just the age on the Dunhill label and they kept the recipe faithful and all? Oh, Doug, now people are going to drop off my live stream and run over to Bremen Pipe Smoker's channel to see the Salty Dog review. Because Doug says It's R-rated due to a statue on the beach where he's broadcasting. I might leave my live stream to go see that. I'm very curious now. Andrew Sirigliano, hello. Happy Friday. 30,000 feet, watching on a plane. Yeah, no pipe smoking there, I'm sure. Wow, I don't know if I've ever been viewed at 30,000 feet, Andrew. That's a new milestone for me. How many live streams can you say have been viewed at 30,000 feet? Yeah, that's incredible. Couch is explaining his watch, and congratulations on that, buddy. And I'm curious, was the recent pipe that you showed me, was that your anniversary pipe, or is there another one to look forward to? Piper on the 45 just left work, so he's just listening. Please do not respond. Phil Rivera, High Point. Ah, High Point, huh? Thanks, Phil. Oh, okay, Doug. Thank you. I have no need to see it now. It's a male statue, so no need to run over to Bremen Pipe Smokers channel. Yes, Andrew Galloway. R.I.P. David Crosby. Indeed. That was well, I can't say it was surprising. You know, he had to be in his 80s, and he was poorly for quite a while, but was sad to see for sure. Quite a talent. I haven't seen James Finn yet, Couch, but glad to hear that he did a good job on the pipe stem. He's a good guy, and he can turn things around much more quickly than I ever could. Mountain Coffee was watching driving down the interstate. Don't do that. Listen, don't watch. I'm much more interesting when you just listen to me, because then you don't have to look at me. You know, Michael Case, that's a good point. I probably am pretty small from 3,000. It was 30,000 feet, wasn't it? Couldn't have been 3,000 feet. That's much too close. But yeah, I'm pretty small from that distance. So the J Mouton Poker is the anniversary pipe. That's a nice pipe. That's a nice pipe indeed. David Crosby did indeed die, Doug. This is of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, not the Bing family. My brother told me, I think I've told you all before, my brother is autistic, and he has a fascination sounds weird. People with autism have special interests, and one of the things that it's hard to explain. It's not like he's fascinated with it or he's obsessed with it, but if a celebrity dies, he notes it, and he can tell you, you know, I'll say, oh, is so-and-so still alive? And I'll say, oh, no, he died in 1974. Like, he'll know exactly the year that this person died for some reason. Not in a morbid sense, it's just something he keeps track of for whatever reason. And anytime a celebrity dies, he sends me a text message right away, did you hear? And he sent me the message yesterday that David Crosby had passed away. And it took me a minute to process who David Crosby was, because when I saw Crosby, I went through Bing and Denise, and and eventually I got to Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Isn't that funny, Couch? You know, he turned me into a Lovat lover. Now you're a poker lover and a Lovat lover. Yeah. Oh, yes, Artie. Jeff Beck died as well. Absolutely. And Lisa Marie Presley. I think we talked about that last week. I could be wrong. But yes, Jeff Beck was this week. Another, well, to be honest, he's one of those people that I kind of lost track of, and I wasn't sure if he was alive or not, but still a shock and a loss to music for sure. Big Dave says Bing Crosby died after playing a round of golf on the way to the clubhouse. Not a bad way to go, I suppose. I mean, unless he like fell into a pit of vipers or something. Probably didn't. Yeah, I guess Kansas on a Friday evening can be mellow. Mountain coffee outdoors. Indeed. Ron Hardcracker spent the day raking and burning leaves. Leaves piled up against the fence, I guess. Light work, but still pooped. Yeah, well, work is work, Ron. Crosby had an amazing career. Last time I saw him on YouTube, he's playing with Dylan. The Frontiers and the Roxy. Yeah, he did. He did indeed have an amazing career, Doug. Yeah, Big Dave, she made me a fan of Star Trek The Next Generation, if you know what I mean. Yeah, Artie, I saw a thing on, I think it was on Instagram today, where there was an interview with Jeff Beck and somebody else, and they pointed out that Jimi Hendrix said that Jeff Beck was an influence. And they actually played a piece by Jeff Beck and a piece by Jimi Hendrix, and you could hear the similarities in them. And Beck said that it was one of the greatest honors he's ever had to hear that, but pretty cool. Yeah, Michael, I've seen that channel where they update the celebrity deaths each month. I thought about sending it to my brother, but he gets mad. Like if I scoop him, he gets mad at me. So I thought he might not like that if there were mentions of celebrities he missed or something. Oh, so Bing was on a course in Spain when he died, says Doug Owen, and he believes it was a sudden heart attack, which is much more pleasant than falling in a pit of vipers. So. I'm sorry, I found that to be funny. I know it's in poor taste. I apologize. Oh, really, Cloud Bear? So Billy Gibbons is. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble placing him. I want to say ZZ Top, but that doesn't sound right. So Hendrix also said Billy Gibbons was the best. Doesn't seem like the timelines would line up there, but maybe I have the wrong. I'm confusing the names. It was ZZ Top. Okay. I guess. So was ZZ Top? I shouldn't probably try to figure this out now. It just seems like the timing wouldn't be right there. It seems like ZZ Top was much later than Jimi Hendrix, but I may just not be thinking of it right. I've never really been a ZZ Top fan, but I watched actually with my dad. My dad liked ZZ Top, and we watched this documentary one time when I was visiting him up in Vermont. There was a ZZ Top documentary of some sort or the other. And I was really impressed. I never realized that it was, I think it was just three guys, right? And the sound that they could produce just sounded so much more dense than that. And it was pretty cool. I enjoyed watching that. Everyone was a Hendrix fan. Many people do not realize why. First he played upside down, and then he used, yeah, that's true. He used no effects, did it all by amps and position of the sound source. That's pretty cool, Artie. That is pretty cool. No, Jeffrey, he doesn't seem to have Asperger's. It's just high functioning epilepsy. I think high functioning. Sorry, I've been thinking about epilepsy all day. Autism is what I would call it. So he's not. Autism is this spectrum disorder where it goes everywhere from these really tragic cases where the kid just sits in a corner and rocks, and then all the way up to what used to be Asperger's, which is no longer considered autism because the new DSM screwed everything up. Sorry, I'm venting a little. So yeah, and it kind of makes sense that they took that away because, by that definition, something like it's estimated that something like 90% of the people living in Silicon Valley have autism, which doesn't really help the people at the other end of the spectrum. So, yeah, I wouldn't say. Well, it's the savant thing is a funny thing, Jeffrey. I don't want to turn this into a lecture on autism, which I could do, but autism comes with what is called special interests. So you'll find people with autism that trains is a very common one. They just love trains and they love everything about trains, and it's very hard to get them to talk, but if you bring up trains, they will talk a mean streak about trains, and you can't, if you change the topic, they'll just shut down. Or maybe they'll only talk to you about trains. Like they'll go to a restaurant and when it's time to order, they'll start telling the waitress about trains, that kind of thing. So that's a special interest. The savant thing, the Rain Man thing, is actually quite rare, and it's not. I don't think it's as common as popular the pop science world has led us to believe. Man, Mountain Coffee Outdoors has Hendrix Electronic Ladyland on vinyl with the British artistic cover art. Nice. There's Voodoo 07. Jimi Hendrix claimed Rory Gallagher was. You're scrolling off. Greatest guitar player to have lived. Cool. I have, speaking of Mountain Coffee Outdoors vinyl copy of Electronic Ladyland, I have a copy of Flatt and Scruggs live from Carnegie Hall that was signed by Flatt and Scruggs. How's that, huh? Ron Hardcrackers, after retiring, feels like, I think you mean Maynard G. Krebs, Dobie's friend, writing by the word work. Oh yeah, Artie, there's definitely a lot of greats in the guitar world. Michael K says 100% of those in Silicon Valley are overpaid, but he's not envious. Nah. Pondering with Pepe's Pipes. Thanks for sharing that, buddy. The reason I said epilepsy when I was trying to say autism is it's something I'm working on right now in my day job. And I've been learning a lot about epilepsy. Very, very tragic in a lot of cases. But hopefully you're doing well. Oh, there you go, Couch. So from the same family, you've got sort of two ends of the spectrum. It's really interesting. how that can happen that way. Yes, Maynard was played by Gilligan, and Tuesday Weld was indeed in that show. Yes, Lord Hogarth. You know your Dobie Gillis. The Ballad of Jed Clampett. Gary, I think that's on the album. I'm not 100% sure. I also have that album on CD. I don't think I've ever played the vinyl. Pepe, you have some questions? Well, ask away, buddy. Or if you'd rather email. I don't know if I can answer them, but happy to chat if you want to drop me an email. Yeah, Artie, it's the truth. You know you're getting old when all your favorite musicians are dying, all your favorite actors are gone. I pretty much only watch old TV, old movies and stuff, and sometimes I'm watching something like everybody in this is dead. Oh, anytime, Pepe. I EEGs are, I live and breathe EEGs. Dusty's Trail was also Gilligan indeed, Andrew. Yep. Robert Johnson, folks are talking about. Died very young indeed. Doug Owens singing the Beverly Hillbillies theme song for some reason. Oh, the Ballad of Jed Clampett we mentioned earlier. Yes, of course. You know, Andrew, I'm sure it'll happen someday. Well, I'm not sure it'll happen. I don't know if anybody will be watching it, but I'm sure we'll all be dead someday. Yes, Michael Case, I know. I know. I had dinner once with, this was a business dinner, and it was with a consultant who actually knew when I was in graduate school. He was tenured professor, very high up, head of a, what can you call it? A research unit, I guess you'd call it. So, you know, pretty well respected guy. And then he retired and became a consultant. That I wound up at this company that hired him as a consultant, and we were out having dinner. And at this point, he's in his 80s and still active, and you know. And we got to talking about old times and people we knew and stuff. And he was saying, you know, I remember I was at a meeting once with such and such a person, and you just get this kind of like sad look on his face. And he told a couple stories like this, and then he just stopped. He said, you know, it's really terrible when you realize that everybody you've known is dead. I think he said all your friends are dead, something like that. And I thought, wow, it must be the curse of living too long. That's true, Lord Hogarth. It's when your enemies start dying, it's not so sad. Doug Owen and MTMTB are now comparing women between the Beverly Hillbillies and Petticoat Junction. Boy, this went downhill fast. Phil Rivera is now Barbara Feldon. Barbara Feldon. Mary Tyler Moore. No, not the Mary Tyler Moore show. When Mary Tyler Moore was on, now I'm joining in. When she was on the Dick Van Dyke show, she was something else. But I didn't like her on the Mary Tyler Moore show. Something happened. Michael Case, how dare he do that? Mrs. Peel. My goodness. You know, I wasn't gonna do this, but since we've gone down this road, I'm gonna say, I was looking at the YouTube last night, and you know how it just suggests random things. And Doug, I didn't pick up Barbara Felton. I just was letting somebody know who 99 was. That was Phil. That was Phil. Jeannie wasn't too shy. Yeah, Linda Carter. I mean, even today, Andrew, she's a beautiful woman even today. Anyway, I was looking at the YouTube, and you know, it suggests things, and I watch a lot of old movies and stuff on YouTube, so it'll sometimes suggest, you know, find out what happened to this actor or this actress or something like that. And what it showed me last night, or one of the things that it came up, was Anne Margaret 1961 personality test shot. And it's like a black and white photo of Anne Margaret. And I thought, well, that's interesting. You know, I only knew Anne Margaret as, you know, a woman in her 40s or so, because, you know, she was before my time. And here she was, you know, probably teenager, or at least, or at the most like early 20s. And I thought, well, I'm just curious to see what that is. And it was this black and white video of her singing Mac the Knife. Not a great version of Mac the Knife, granted. It was a test thing, you know. They were just trying to see if she was charismatic, and they probably told her to, you know, be as outlandish as you can or whatever. But the person that put this video up had a whole playlist that was called the Anne Margaret Chronology. And this was the first video in that playlist. So I wound up watching most of it last night, and my goodness, I hadn't noticed her prior to just recently, and wow. So she might be my new, you know, replacing, oh goodness, I'm blanking on her name. Nora Charles. It'll come to me. Oh, I can imagine, Codger Jim. I can imagine. Susan Day was an attractive woman in her day. Lori Partridge, never liked the Partridge Family. That Danny got on my nerves. Anne Margaret was in Viva Las Vegas with Elvis, indeed. Myrna Loy, thank you, Michael Case. Thank you. Don't know why I couldn't think of that. Yeah, so Anne Margaret might be my updated version of Myrna Loy. And I informed my wife this evening, Anne Margaret's still alive. So she better watch her step up there. Five Easy Pieces. You know, it's a funny thing, Doug. There's all these movies that she was in that I just didn't realize it was her. I don't know why. Like, I've seen Five Easy Pieces, I've seen Viva Las Vegas, and for some reason I just never connected those with that person. You know, she was just kind of this, I don't know how to explain it, but I guess I noticed her last night for the first time. Prior to that, she was just a random actress, but she was something special. Still is something special, I'm sure. And I'm talking about talent. You know, a very beautiful and somewhat unique voice. Incredible dancing. There's some of these videos were from Bye Bye Birdie, which is a horrendous thing to watch. Don't watch it. But the dancing in it is quite impressive. Phil's still going for Mrs. Howe. I don't know, Phil. Angie Dickinson, Pepper. MTMTB is bringing up Suzanne Plachette. Yeah, even when she was on the Bob Newhart show. But she wound up with Tom Poston, which just confuses the heck out of me. The Smooth Piper loved Tippi Hedren in The Birds. Yeah. Paul Lynde was in Bye Bye Birdie. Yeah. My mom liked Bye Bye Birdie, and it would come on a couple times a year when I was a kid. It would be on like UHF. You kids don't know what UHF is, I'm sure, but the older folks among us do. And we'd have to watch it. And I'm sorry, there's very little good about Bye Bye Birdie. It's just not a good movie. The music's not good. There's just nothing I like about it. The occasional Clay Piper is bringing up Barbara Eden. Talking about great shows, Canon. Moving on, then came Bronson. Don't follow. I don't know. Moving on, Artie, but Canon was a great show. All right, Phil's asking the question: which one of the Golden Girls? I think the answer there is obvious. Catherine Ross in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Yes, Ron, Anne Margaret did play herself on the Flintstones. Yeah. And Stanley Smith is saying Haley Mills a fox. I'm not placing Haley Mills. Suzanne Plachette was in The Birds. I didn't know that, Doug. That's interesting. Local school teacher who got chased down by the crows in Bodega Bay. Huh. Yeah, What's the Matter with Kids by Paul Lynde. Only good song in Bye Bye Birdie, according to Michael Case. Okay, the Smooth Piper's got our first Golden Girl vote of Rue McClanahan. Oh, that's interesting, Doug. William Conrad had one of the largest, I always stumble on that word, Charatan pipe collections in the world. Loved the gigantic pipes. Yeah, Raquel Welch was indeed ageless, Phil. Indeed. Andrew Galloway, Lindsay Wagner, the Bionic Woman. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but that never really worked for me. Oh, it's funny. I like Charlie's Angels. Everybody was into the Farrah Fawcett back then, and I just didn't. I didn't see it. And Lindsay Wagner, yeah. Anyway, Patrick Grant voting for Betty White. I'll second that, Patrick. I think out of the four of them. Yeah, musicals are hard to do, Mountain Coffee. I agree. Doug is saying Sheraton like the hotel chain, but I don't know what that means. I don't know what hotel chain you're referring to, Doug. I'm hopeless. Sheridan, got it. MTMTB is voting for Juliet Prowse, and Andrew Galloway is saying Jenny a gutter from Logan's Run. I remember Logan's Run. That's funny. Logan's Run was billed as a Farrah Fawcett movie, and she was in it for like 10 minutes. If Jenny Agutter was the lead female in that, yeah, she was very good. Indigo Expatriate, greetings from Kuala Lumpur. Well, thank you for joining us. Captain Black Gold in an unfiltered Missouri Meerschaum Diplomat egg with a swirly smoke-colored forever stem. Nobody gets Tom Postum. Oh yeah, Phil, that wouldn't have worked well. Tanya Tucker. There you go, Michael. Yeah, CaneRod was a great radio, Dylan. No question about it. But Arness had the look for sure. Yeah, Clarence, that's interesting. I see Linda Evans in the Big Valley, and I just can't believe that's Linda Evans. Thank you, Doug. I will never have trouble with Sheraton again. That helped a lot. Sheraton. Ah, that's a good one, Phil. Dry Fly Fisher, Faye Dunaway in 3 Days of the Condor. Ah, or the Thomas Crown Affair. Renee Russo, May Edger out in the remake of the Thomas Crown. Yeah, maybe. Bo Derek from The Urban Hermit. Morgan Fairchild had her day, Piper Time, for sure. Indigo Expatriates go with Barbara Eden, but Barbara Stanwyck, wow. Yeah, I've mentioned this before, but she just recently passed away. Oh, darn it. I can't think of her name now. Murder, She Wrote woman. Oh. This is terrible when you can't think of names. Angela Lansbury. Young Angela Lansbury was stunningly attractive. It's true, Doug. It is quite varied, and you know the wonderful thing is we're just appreciating. You know we're we're really not a bunch of dirty old men. Well, maybe we are, but we're just appreciating the beauty of the female form. Shelley Winters, really, Peter? Eric, the blue collar pipe smoker. Yes, indeed. I would have guessed that you would be a Reno fan. How you doing, Eric? Great to see you, buddy. Yeah, dry fly fisher. I'm feeling a little guilty about this. I'm going to try to change the subject real soon. I keep thinking of something to talk about, and then it falls out of my head because somebody mentioned another actress. And there you go, Kevin Berenger. Yeah, just appreciating the beauty of the female form. Doug's planting his flag in the DOM category. Sailor was going to stay out of the discussion, but broke down with Ellie McGraw. Ford smoking pipes. Ford's voting for Sharon. He doesn't even know what we're talking about. You might regret that vote, Ford. Ah, goodness. Come on, Mike. Think of something else to talk about quick. What's my favorite fly to tie? Asked Michael Case. Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much. I like the elk-wing caddis. That's a fun one to tie. I'm actually a big fan of tying, not fishing, but tying the stimulator. That's a fun one too. Phil Rivera wants to know who's my favorite dictator. Mountain Coffee Outdoors is voting for the San Juan worm. That's not a fly. That's one step up from the guys that tie the coffee bean onto the hook because it looks like a trout pellet. Eric's asking what's on Svengoolie tomorrow night, and Eric, I do not remember. I do not remember. Did you see they've extended it to 2.5 hours now? Kevin Berenger, I am not going to respond to that. And Ford, I'm not going to respond to that either. Clarence Wood figured me for a Parachute Adams guy. I've tied the parachute. I like the Catskill patterns. I used to tie a lot of Catskill flies, so the parachutes were kind of cheating for me. Nothing against them. I just prefer the upright wing with the hackle running through it. Yeah, Michael, I'm regretting Stimulator. I really am. Stimmies are great looking flies though. They're you got to use just about every skill in fly tying to tie them properly, and they're just a lot of fun. Yeah, Doug, that's what I like about the elk-haired caddis. It's pretty simple to tie. You can tie a bunch of them really fast, and around in Pennsylvania, the caddis is the most common hatch you run into, and they just work beautifully. Really, Kevin? They're releasing Mel Brooks' History of the World Part 2 as a series? MTMTB likes tying streamers. Well, Doug, I tied a lot. I used to actually tie in competitions. It's been 10 years since I've done it, but and I've lost a lot of that talent for sure. My pipe is done here, and I think I'm gonna do something a little different. I really wish I could get things into shape down here so that I could do some more fly tying videos. But I just wasn't happy with the couple that I did. I didn't like the camera. I just didn't like the lighting or very much about it, to be honest. So I got to work on that. Any actual fishing trips this year? Yeah, Michael, I'm definitely going to go out to Central PA this year and fish some of those streams. And I'm probably going to have to spend some more time up in Vermont now that my brother and sister are up there on their own. And so I'll hopefully hit a couple streams up in Vermont, or if I'm real lucky, if I can schedule it right. In the past, I've actually gone up to Roscoe, Catskill region, and fished there for a day or two, and then went up to Vermont. So we'll see how it works out, but definitely the Central PA trip this year. It is easier to use the swatter for it. You're right. Went down a rabbit hole a couple years ago looking at all the flies the Irish female made back in the early 20th century, says Phil Rivera. Was this Carrie, Carrie, what was Carrie's last name? I know who you're talking about, Phil. These were salmon flies, right? Very beautiful. Well, no, they weren't salmon flies, were they? They were streamers. What the heck was her name? No, I'm confusing two people. I know who you're talking about, and then there's somebody from Maine that did more streamer type patterns. That might be Carrie. I can't think of her name, but yeah, I know who you're talking about, Phil, and beautiful work. Voodoo is asking, how close is the sugar barrel match to the original sugar barrel? Depends on who you ask, Voodoo. In my opinion, it's not even remotely close. None of them are. And that's because of the chemical flavorings that are used that weren't used in the original sugar barrel. I can taste them, other people can't. So if you don't have that problem, if you can enjoy aromatics that have chemical toppings, you might love the matches. Sure, Doug. I could show you some of my work, some of my fly tying. I'd be happy to do that. I don't know if I've got any pictures on this computer. I shall check, because of the glitch that I had last week with the floating chisel. I actually know how to show you pictures now, but I don't think I have any fly pictures here. Let's see. Oh. Oh, guess what? It stopped working. It stopped working now. Oh, there it is. Can you guys see the... Oh, Indigo Expatriate. Wow. Thank you so much, my friend. That is very, very generous of you. Much appreciated. And you get a foghorn or clown bell. I'm not sure which. Hopefully that is playing for you right now. You got the foghorn. Thank you, Indigo Expatriate. That is very generous, and it helps us a lot. So you should be able to see some feathers right now. Do you see those? Eric's bringing up that yeah, Matches really like the Sugar Barrel blend. Yeah, we're coming up on the anniversary of Matches passing, aren't we? Portsmouth Piper, how you doing there, Mark? Good to see you. Dry fly fisher. I usually do not smoke while I'm on the water. I smoke on the bank, and when I get back to the car, for some reason, it's cigar. So let me see. Since folks asked about the flies, and if everybody's bored by this, that fly is, I believe, that is a bird's nest. Hopefully you can see it. No, it did not update. It might. Oh, you know what? I'm behind. That's right. There's a delay. So when that does update, actually by the time I'm saying this, it will update because of the delay. You can take a look at that. There you go. That is the bird's nest. It just popped up for me. All is well here, Mark. It's great to see you. There was a baseball displayed last week behind my head. There still should be, I hope. Yes. But it's probably behind the bird's nest right now. That is my Steve Carlton signed autograph Steve Carlton ball, which I got back in October. Do not know if why Sugar Barrel was discontinued. Let's see. So, this is actually a pattern that I developed. It's a little black stonefly nymph, and this is an interesting one because little black stonefly nymphs are usually tied black, which would make sense, but the fly is black. The nymph is actually quite golden colored, and this works really well on streams where there are little black stoneflies. So that's one of my favorites. Welsh Piper, good morning. Good to see you. 4 hours to go at work. Well, hope it goes quickly there, Welsh Piper. It's great to see you, buddy. Casual dress is the next one. Boy, I'm getting old. I cannot remember who developed this this pattern, but he was I really like his flies, and I've tied quite a few of them. Old time fly tire. I've got a video planned for some of his flies if I ever get back to doing fly tying videos. But let's see. Michael K says if he tried tying it would turn into a rat's nest. Well, Michael, that's what happened to me for about a year. Caravan Beringer, this was not covered earlier. The Eagles this weekend. I don't know. I'm hopeful, but who knows? Who knows? Lurker Troy, I agree. I mean, anytime you can get a fly on the top, you get a fish on the top, that's the most fun. But yeah, nymphs are usually very much more productive. Very Oliver Edward-esque, says Dry Fly Fisher, about the fly I showed. Well, thank you. Before I forget to smoke something, I am gonna have I'm gonna have a cigar tonight because I'm just in a cigar kind of mood. And this is a Aquitaine. You will not be able to read the Aquitaine on there, but that's what it is. And uh-oh. Did not bring my cutter down. Yeah, Kevin, that's the issue. That Texas team. Yeah. Oh, an Ichiro ball. That would have been something, Doug. Andrew Galloway wants to know what's wrong with the simple worm. Well, it's simple. I mean, I like the challenge. Pepe, I have been to Boiling Springs, yes. I left my clipper, my cutter upstairs, so I'm going to use one of my favorite cigar punches, which is just an acid brush that I have here. It works surprisingly well. Yep, that'll be just fine. Yeah, these are good. I see Couch. No, it's not one of the bubblegum cigars, Phil, but I wouldn't mind having one of those. Kevin Doolin's got the Haunted Bookshop and a 320. Nice. And Brian Woodward and Couch are both commenting on the cigar. It is a great cigar. One of the ones that my wife knows to buy me, which is nice. She bought this for me. But I will probably get a... Were you smoking a cigar down there? Not that she minds it much, but... Lurker Troy says he loves the bubblegum cigars. They taste like Captain Black grape. If only I had something sharp in the shop with which to cut a cigar. Believe me, Kevin, I got more than enough. I cut myself again this morning. I don't know if you can see right in there. I've been sneaking down here in the morning for about an hour before work every day to get some stuff done, and I managed to cut myself quite often. 30-30 sharpened brass, that works, Phil. Yeah. Ichiro was a phenomenon, no question about it, Doug. Yeah, he threw... His arm was amazing. I was in Allenbury, Pepe. Michael says he can no longer smoke cigars larger than a Robusto, getting old. Well, I don't know. Sometimes the Robusto is all that you need. There's the stimmy. So that picture is a stimulator, and you can see it's a pretty complex fly. It's got a lot going on, but boy, it's a lot of fun to tie. Yeah, Kevin, that's exactly what happened. I'm not wearing my wedding ring because I have to get it resized. And if my wife doesn't go to Pittsburgh this weekend, maybe I can convince her to take a ride with me tomorrow. I don't know why. I'm just a sentimental fool, but I don't want to go get it done without her. Because the truth is, until this happened, until I couldn't wear it anymore, I never took it off, except a couple times when I had to like get surgeries or something. And I gave it to her to hold, and she put it back on for me. I know that sounds a little cheesy, but that's just, I viewed that as something sacred. And now I haven't been wearing it for so long. I want her to go with me to get it resized. So probably silly, but that's what it is. Yeah, and it is because of the weight loss. It just, I had more tape than ring, and it just got silly. Ichiro was Ichiban? I know that's funny, Phil, but I can't remember what Ichiban means. Kevin, I appreciate that, but no need to be jealous. You can do it. Phil, the CA glue, I'm telling you, I've actually gone through a tube of CA glue in the past 2 weeks, and it's mostly been on my hands. Thank you, Kevin. It is a good reason to have your ring resized, indeed. Also, Kevin. Ichiban means best? Okay. Thank you, Phil. Premium or number one, says Indigo Expatriate. Thank you. Stimulators on a small brook trout stream. Yeah, that's good stuff. Fran Betters, that was the guy that tied the hair-winged version of so many flies, right? The haystack and those, was that Fran Betters? Dry fly fish? It's been a while, and my mind is foggy when it comes to these the names. I still can't remember who tied the darn not bird's nest, casual dress. Let me know if you're getting bored with the flies. Bored of the flies. This is not a pattern that I developed. This is a Catskill pattern. It's a stonefly, and complicated little bugger. Oh, thank you, Doug. Kevin Doolin running 5Ks. That's fantastic. That's a great way to get your ring loose. Indeed. Get it resized. You don't want to lose it. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Peter. Ryan Woodward. A couple dozen rings, makes a new one when he gets bored. Well, that's an interesting approach, and if it makes you happy, that's all that matters, buddy. Oh, wow. Yeah, titanium ring would be difficult to resize, Mountain Coffee. Kevin Berger says he doesn't even drive 5K. Carrie Stevens is who I was thinking of. Now, she was the one that was in Rangeley, Maine. That's who I thought Phil was referring to, but he's referring to the woman who lived in Scotland who tied the beautiful salmon flies, and I can't think of her name. But Carrie, got to scroll back up because I've already forgotten. Carrie Stevens tied those Maine streamer type flies, really beautiful flies, mostly feather wing type streamers. Blue collar pipe smoker says last time he ran a 5K, the ice cream truck passed his house. That is funny. Ford smoking pipes ties on a kernel of jelly green giant when he trout fishes. Hey, it works, Ford. It works. You know, it's just a different thing. If you're fishing to catch fish, there's nothing wrong with that. I personally just find it easier to go to the grocery store when I want fish. So for me, it's more about solving the puzzle and having the excitement of catching something on something you tied and all that. And I let them go, you know. There's quite a few flies that have flashback on them, Couch. It's kind of a method of using a piece of flash, which is usually something similar to tinsel, that you tie across the back of a nymph. So there's a lot of flies that are, you know, you'll have like what the heck, man, I'm having word difficulty tonight. Pheasant tail nymph, there we go. And you might, if you put a piece of flash on the back of it, it would be a flashback pheasant tail nymph. Or Doug Owens' version might be correct. Phil ran 25 miles many times. Wow, that's a run. Megan Boyd, I think that is correct, Dry Fly Fisher. Phil, is that who you were thinking of? Yeah, I don't think she used a vise. She actually held them in her hand. That sounds familiar, Mountain Coffee, that there was a Scottish fly tyer that gave Charles a salmon fly when he was married, but I do not remember the specifics. Ah, and here we go to my not so traditional side. This is a bluegill fly that I came up with. It was called, I forget what it's called, a woven rubber leg bugger or something like that. It was a takeoff on a bluegill fly that someone else had tied, but I added the weaving on the back of it. So that back is done with 3 different colors of tying floss that are woven in what's called a Polish weave to give that pattern. Anyway, that's probably enough flies, but thank you. I forgot now who asked to see them, but hey, you got to see some. And see, this little glitch that had the floating chisel has come in handy. It's funny, someone commented on the video last week, watched the rerun and commented, is there a reason why there was a chisel floating above your head? So as I'm smoking this cigar, I'm reminded to tell you that I've planned ahead. So there's a good chance my wife's going to be going to Pittsburgh sometime in the next week or two. So this morning, I ordered some pruner. I got it right this time. Okay, Couch, that fly is now officially Couch. How's that? Couch likes it when I name things Couch. Anything else interesting here? There's a bunch of elk hair caddis. And we're back. Okay, so that's it. That's everything. Those are just a bunch of elk hair caddis. Megan Boyd, yes, that's there's a really nice documentary done about her. Which I cannot remember the name of to save my life, but robot fly called the bot fly. Is that a bottle fly joke, Michael? Oh, look at that, Couch. Kevin Doolan named his sofa after you. Is there a difference between a sofa and a couch? These are the kind of questions that ultimately drive us out of our minds if we're not careful. I asked my wife something the other day. I can't remember what it was, but that's probably a good thing. She told me I was crazy for thinking about it. And I made a mental note, which obviously didn't work, to bring it up and ask you all if it was something you had ever considered. But it was along the lines of our sofas and couches, different things. You've seen the documentary, Phil? Yeah, it really was good, and got a good feel for the conditions under which she tied, and just how talented she was because she had such minimal tools. Uh, Boy, I wish I could remember the name of the guy that tied the casual dress because he was something else too. He did not use a vise. He didn't use a bobbin. He actually had his thread just running through a hook on his bench, and he would just hold it in his hand and hold the hook in his other hand and tie. Ford, you have a great night, buddy, and thanks for joining us. Have a good weekend too. I don't know if a sofa has a pull-out bed, Kevin. I don't know. Maybe. And Couch is making a pun. Indigo expatriate. Do you need look? Thank you. Ah, thank you. Yes, good woman definitely helps. That's interesting, expatriate. That's a different point of view than I think most people have, but I think there's some truth in that. Oh yes, the rubber couch from Matches was hilarious, Doug. That is definitely one of his great ones. All right, Phil. Thank you for joining us, buddy. Have a great weekend, my friend. This is a Aquitaine from is it Neanderthal? Couch, help me out here. Who makes the Aquitaine? Cole's asking. Ah, Patrick Grant informs us that a couch has no arms and is used for laying on while a sofa has arms. Very interesting. Very interesting. As in a fainting couch. Yes, Michael. Or a Freudian couch. Big Country Briar wants to know if a sleeper sofa is a Davenport. Cole, you've gone far beyond my understanding of couches. It's Roma Craft. Thank you, Couch. Yeah, okay, Neanderthal is one of the Roma Craft lines, but this is the Aquitaine from Roma Craft. So there you go, Cole. Fantastic cigar. Doug Owen, my goodness, thank you, sir. That is so kind of you. And you get a fogger. And we'll make you'll be surprised to see I can make the flies go away now. My, those tips really do help because, since I've stopped doing the pipe repair business, the funds for this kind of thing are meager. Let's just put it that way. Couches do indeed rule, Couch. They do indeed. I don't know how many cigars I have, Everett. I've got I think my humidor holds like 120, but it's not even close to full. And those have accumulated over many, many years. It's probably about half full. Jim PM, good to see you, buddy. Just stopped in to say goodnight. Yeah, we're getting there, Jim. We're getting there. Cigar smoke always makes the flies go away. You got that right, Doug. You got that right. Yes, I'm trying to think of ways I can, like, this Friday night show is, I'm afraid it's getting a little repetitive. Not necessarily in a bad way, because repetitive can be comfortable, and clearly, you guys show up, we get, peak views are around 60, and that's fantastic, and I don't want more. I'm not trying to I've never been somebody that's been hunting for subscribers or views or anything like that. I just do this because I enjoy it and you enjoy it, and I love the feedback, and I love the community. But I don't want this to get boring for people. And I've been trying to think of what else I can do. I did all the interview type things, and that was fun, but they kind of dried up, and it's just hard to get people to do it now. So I don't know. I want to think of things I can do, and be able to invest from your kind support back into the show. I was thinking of maybe doing some live restoration type work or something. Not that I'm currently set up for it, but I don't know if that would be of interest, or if you just prefer the chats. So if anybody has thoughts on that, if you want to email me separately or whatever, I'd love to get your input, because I want to make this something that's enjoyable for both of us, for all of us, I should say, I guess, since there's more than one of you, but you know what I mean, both myself and the audience. Michael Case is saying Aquitaine made by Ellen of Aquitaine. Ha ha ha. Cole, thank you. That's actually very good to hear. And I'm glad. And maybe that means I shouldn't change anything. Thanks, Pepe. I'll keep it in mind. Yeah, maybe we can occasionally do something different, but just keep things kind of status quo for the most part. Like we occasionally do the the holiday things. I just want to make sure that you guys are getting something out of this, and it looks like the feedback is such. So good deal. Thank you, Cole, for what you said there, and for all the folks that are agreeing. Yeah, Doug, I don't know if they'd be comfortable with that, but if anybody can put me in touch with Ann Margaret, I'd be happy to explore that possibility. Everett wants to know when is he when is he co-living? Yes, that would be fun, Everett. We should definitely do that. Have the dogs join the next show. Yeah, I'd love to do that, Everett. And we should talk. Next week is a little bit touch and go for me. I should have said this earlier, by the way. Thank you, Doug. Glad to know that. Next week, I am going on Saturday to the Midwestern Tool Collectors Association, Yorktown, Pennsylvania tool show. This is a antique tool collecting group that I belong to, and York, Pennsylvania is about 2 hours away. I need to get there by 7 o'clock in the morning, and I haven't yet decided. So if my wife is still in town, I might get a hotel room Friday night, and if I do that, I may have to cancel this. But it's looking like she's not going to be in town, and I'll probably just leave early Saturday morning to get there. So I'm like probably 90% sure we're going to do this next Friday, but just in case, you'll see a notification. I know you don't normally relight cigars, but this one is burning a little weird. Occasional cigar show might be good, Michael. I've just been out of the cigar world so long. This cigar has probably been out close to 10 years now, and it's to me it's a new cigar. So I don't know if my cigar shows would be very interesting. Dry Fly Fisher, that's really great to hear that you plan to have a pipe on Friday, and I love that. So thank you for that. Thank you, Smooth Piper. You guys are doing great. I honestly was not searching for compliments, and I appreciate them greatly. But I just want to make sure that this is useful to you. Useful is probably the wrong word, but it's fun, and I guess it is. So, enough said. Jim PM, do a session where everyone smokes a particular blend for trial or remembrance, perhaps, and we can all share our thoughts. Yeah, it's a little hard to do that unless we do it as, bringing people in. And we tried to do that a while back with the, what did we do last? Was it the I Hate Roger Goodell from our buddy Tim Fournier? It just didn't work out well. I think that was the last one we tried. Maybe there was another one. For some reason, if I do one person, it works well. And I think it's me. I mean, I can concentrate on one person and I can interact with them. But when we get into a group, I think I just sort of take more of a back seat and expect the group to talk amongst themselves, and it just didn't work. That's correct, Patrick is doing a touch-up. Yep. Yeah, Sailor, useful was the wrong word. I don't want to be useful. Not in this context, at least. Oh no! Cole missed out on BourbonCon in Lexington this weekend. That's a shame. I hope everything's okay with your road buddy there. All right, MTMTB, you have a good night and a great weekend. I'm getting close to the end here, and we have a few minutes to go. And I do need to be cognizant of the time because my wife is upstairs and I've got the heater turned off, and she gets a little testy after a while because it is chilly. Thank you, Patrick Grant. That's kind of you to say. And again, I'm not fishing for compliments. I really appreciate what you guys are saying, but I also want to keep things relevant. So, and especially when I'm getting benefiting from your generosity. But we'll find a way to turn that back into quality content here. If not on the live stream, we'll do it in our other videos. And I do have some plans. I don't know how many folks will be interested in this. I do have some, I got some lighter stuff I want to do, and I've got maybe some pipe making stuff, not sure. But I definitely have some woodworking ideas that I want to get into as well. And I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that on this channel or maybe set up a separate channel for it, but we'll see. Yes, cold. That's what I'm going to hear. I'm cold and it smells like cigars. Yep. All right, Pepe, you have a good night too, buddy. Yeah, Michael, I think you're right. The serendipity seems to work, so maybe we'll just keep working on that. Hey, Ghost Cobb, greetings, my friend. Good to see you tonight, Sean. Sean, you're pretty much just in time for the wind up, unfortunately, because we've hit the 90-minute mark, and I need to turn the furnace back on. So I'm gonna finish up the last bit of this. I will stay down here and finish up the last bit of this. Not that I have to, but I'll be nice. But I will turn the furnace back on. All right, folks. Well, I want to thank you all for joining me. This is, some of you have said it, and this is definitely the high point of my week. So I appreciate you all showing up and joining in on these goofy conversations that so often involve female celebrities. You have a good night, a great weekend, and we'll be back hopefully next week. We'll see how things go with the tool show. I'll let you know before 8 o'clock on Friday for sure. And I'll have a video for you on Sunday. So look forward to talking to you then. So with that, guys, I'm going to call this to an end. You all take care. Have a great weekend. Bye now.